The entire music store fell silent as Dave Grohl walked directly toward the 9-year-old girl, shredding on a beat-up electric guitar in the corner. Her blonde hair flew as she played with the intensity of a seasoned rocker, completely unaware that one of rock's biggest legends was approaching with an expression of absolute amazement. "That was incredible," Dave said quietly, kneeling down to 9-year-old Lily Matthews' eye level as she finished the complex riff that had drawn his attention from across the store. What happened next would change this young musician's life forever and remind everyone why authentic talent transcends age, gender, and expectation. The story of this extraordinary encounter actually began hours earlier that afternoon at Morrison Music in Nashville, where Dave had ducked into the family-owned store, hoping to find a specific vintage drumhead for an upcoming recording session. The cramped shop, filled with instruments from floor to ceiling, had been recommended by a session musician who swore they carried hard-to-find equipment that bigger stores overlooked. Dave appreciated stores like Morrison Music, where the focus remained on musical passion rather than corporate profit margins. The elderly owner, Frank Morrison, had been serving Nashville musicians for 43 years, building relationships based on genuine love for instruments and the people who played them. The walls were covered with signed photos from customers who had become famous, but Frank treated every visitor with the same enthusiasm. As Dave browsed the drum section, he heard something that made him stop mid-step. Guitar notes were flowing from somewhere in the store with a complexity and emotion that seemed impossible given the casual afternoon atmosphere. The playing wasn't just technically proficient, it carried the kind of soulful expression that couldn't be taught, only felt. Dave found himself drawn toward the sound like a musical magnet. Following the melody through narrow aisles packed with guitars, keyboards, and amplifiers, Dave discovered the source of the incredible music. In a small alcove near the back of the store sat 9-year-old Lily Matthews, her small hands moving across the fretboard of a worn Fender Stratocaster with the confidence of someone decades older. Her eyes were closed as she played, lost in the music she was creating. Lily had been coming to Morrison Music every Saturday for 2 years, ever since her parents had reluctantly agreed to let her take guitar lessons. What started as a way to keep their energetic daughter occupied had quickly revealed itself as something much more significant. Frank Morrison had recognized Lily's exceptional talent within weeks and had become her unofficial mentor, allowing her to practice on the store's instruments. Dave watched in amazement as Lily's fingers navigated complex chord progressions that many adult guitarists would struggle to master. She wasn't simply mimicking songs she had learned, she was improvising, creating musical phrases that showed an intuitive understanding of melody, rhythm, and emotional expression. Her small stature made the guitar appear enormous, yet she wielded it with complete command and natural grace. Frank Morrison noticed Dave's presence and quietly approached, recognizing the Foo Fighters frontman immediately. "She's something special, isn't she?" Frank whispered, not wanting to disturb Lily's playing. "Been coming in here for 2 years, and I've never seen anything like it. That little girl has music running through her veins like it's her blood. She plays like she's been doing it for 30 years. Dave nodded silently, completely captivated by Lily's performance. As a musician who had spent decades in the industry, he had encountered countless talented players, but there was something uniquely pure about watching this 9-year-old girl channel music with such authentic passion. Her technique was impressive, but her emotional connection to the instrument was what made her playing truly extraordinary. Lily opened her eyes as she finished her improvised piece, suddenly noticing the small audience that had gathered to listen. Dave saw a flicker of shyness cross her face before being replaced by the confident smile of someone who knew she had just created something beautiful. She carefully placed the guitar back on its stand, treating the instrument with the respect of a true musician. "That was absolutely incredible," Dave said, stepping forward and extending his hand to introduce himself. "I'm Dave, and I have to say, you're one of the most talented guitarists I've ever heard." Lily's eyes widened as she recognized him, though her response was refreshingly honest rather than starstruck. "I know who you are. I love your music, but I'm still learning to play rock songs. Mine was just improvising." Dave was immediately impressed by Lily's humility and mature perspective on her own playing. Most young musicians he encountered were either intimidated by his presence or overly eager to impress him, but Lily seemed genuinely curious about his opinion while remaining confident in her own abilities. "Just improvising?" Dave laughed warmly. "What you were doing was composing original music in real time. That's not just anything. That's extraordinary." Frank Morrison beamed with pride as he watched the interaction between Dave and his young protege. "Lily comes in every Saturday and plays for hours," Frank explained. "Never the same thing twice. She learns songs during the week, but when she's here, she likes to experiment and create her own music. I've been selling guitars for 4 decades, and I've never seen natural talent like this." Dave knelt down to Lily's level, his expression serious but kind. "How long have you been playing?" he asked, genuinely interested in her musical journey. Lily counted on her fingers before answering. 2 years and 4 months. My parents got me lessons for my 7th birthday, but I wanted to play guitar since I was 5. I used to pretend tennis rackets were guitars until they finally let me try the real thing." The image of 5-year-old Lily air guitaring with tennis rackets brought a huge smile to Dave's face. He had his own memories of pretending household items were instruments before getting his first real drum kit. "What made you want to play guitar so badly?" he asked, sensing there was a deeper story behind her musical passion. Lily's answer revealed the thoughtful soul behind her impressive technical skills. "Music makes me feel like I can say things I don't have words for," Lily explained with the wisdom of someone much older. "When I play, it's like my feelings come out through my fingers instead of my mouth. Sometimes I'm sad or excited or confused, and playing guitar helps me understand what I'm feeling." Does that make sense? Her articulation of music's emotional power impressed Dave more than her technical ability had. Dave felt a deep recognition in Lily's words, remembering his own early relationship with music and how drumming had provided an outlet for emotions he couldn't otherwise express. "That makes perfect sense," he assured her. "Music is a language that doesn't need words. The fact that you understand that at 9 years old tells me you're going to be an incredible musician. You already are an incredible musician." Other customers in the store had begun to gather, drawn by the unusual sight of Dave Grohl having an intense conversation with a 9-year-old about music theory and emotional expression. Frank discreetly managed the growing crowd, ensuring that Lily and Dave could continue their conversation without feeling pressured or overwhelmed by the attention their interaction was generating. "Would you mind playing something else?" Dave asked hopefully. "Maybe something you learned recently, or another improvisation? I'd love to hear more of your music." Lily nodded enthusiastically and reached for a different guitar, a beautiful acoustic model that Frank handed her with obvious pride. "This one's my favorite for slower songs," she explained, settling the guitar comfortably in her lap. As Lily began to play, Dave was struck by how different her approach was with the acoustic guitar. Where her electric playing had been energetic and complex, her acoustic style was more contemplative and melodic. She played a haunting, original composition that seemed to tell a story without words, her small fingers coaxing gorgeous tones from the steel strings with remarkable sensitivity and control. The melody Lily created was so beautiful that several customers stopped their brows entirely, drawn into the emotional landscape she was painting with her music. Dave watched her face as she played, noting how her expressions changed with the musical phrases, how completely connected she was to every note she produced. This wasn't performance. This was pure musical communication. When Lily finished the piece, the small crowd in the store burst into spontaneous applause. She blushed at the attention but accepted the appreciation gracefully, thanking everyone with the polite confidence her parents had clearly instilled in her. Dave was the first to clap and the last to stop, genuinely moved by what he had just witnessed from this remarkable young musician. "Lily, I have a question for you," Dave said, his tone suggesting something important was coming. "What would you say if I told you that some of the most successful musicians I know don't play with half the soul you just showed me?" What would you say if I told you that you have a gift that can't be taught, only nurtured? Lily considered Dave's question seriously before answering, with characteristic honesty. I'd say thank you, but I still have a lot to learn. Frank teaches me new chords every week, and my guitar teacher shows me scales and techniques. I know I'm good for my age, but I want to keep getting better. I want to write songs that make people feel the same way I feel when I play. Her response revealed not just talent, but the kind of growth mindset that separated lifelong musicians from those who plateau early. Dave recognized in Lily the same hunger for improvement that had driven his own musical development. That attitude is exactly why you're going to go far, he told her. Talent gets you started, but the desire to keep learning is what makes you great. Frank Morrison had been quietly listening to their conversation, and Dave noticed him wiping his eyes discreetly. Frank, Dave said, turning to the store owner, how often does Lily get to play with other musicians? Does she have opportunities to jam with anyone, or is she mostly playing solo? The question hinted at possibilities that made Frank's expression brighten considerably. She mostly plays by herself, Frank admitted. Her guitar teacher is excellent for technique, but Lily's beyond what most instructors can offer in terms of creativity and musical intuition. I've been wondering what would happen if she had the chance to play with experienced musicians who could challenge her and help her grow. She needs musical peers, not just teachers. Dave had been thinking the same thing as he watched Lily play. Her natural ability needed cultivation in an environment that matched her exceptional talent level. What if I told you, Dave said, looking between Frank and Lily, that I know some people who would love to meet you and maybe play some music together? Would that interest you, Lily? Lily's eyes lit up with excitement, but she looked to Frank for guidance before answering. Her respect for his mentorship was evident in how she sought his approval for new opportunities. Frank nodded encouragingly. That sounds amazing, Lily said carefully, but I should ask my parents first. They always want to know about my music opportunities, and they might have questions about what it would involve. Dave appreciated Lily's maturity in deferring to her parents' judgment, recognizing the wisdom in her cautious approach to new opportunities. Absolutely, he agreed. Any opportunity involving music should definitely be discussed with your parents. How about this? Could Frank give me their contact information so I can talk to them directly? I have some ideas that might interest them. Frank immediately offered to facilitate the introduction, explaining that he had known Lily's parents, Mark and Jennifer Matthews, for the 2 years she had been coming to the store. They're wonderful people who really support Lily's musical development, Frank assured Dave. They've invested in quality lessons, instruments, and practice time. They'll want to hear about any opportunity that could help her grow as a musician. As Dave prepared to leave the store, he realized this chance encounter had affected him more than most of his professional interactions. Lily's pure relationship with music had reminded him why he had fallen in love with playing in the first place. Lily, he said, keep playing the way you played today. Don't let anyone tell you to change your style or your approach. What you have is special. Lily thanked Dave sincerely, then surprised him by asking, could you sign my guitar case? Not because you're famous, but because meeting you made me feel like my music really matters. Her request was so genuine and thoughtful that Dave felt honored to comply. He signed her worn guitar case with a message. To Lily, keep making music that moves people. You're already doing it. That evening, Dave called Mark and Jennifer Matthews, introducing himself and explaining how he had discovered their daughter's exceptional talent at Morrison Music. The conversation lasted over an hour, as Dave shared his professional assessment of Lily's abilities and outlined opportunities that could nurture her development. Her parents were amazed, but not entirely surprised by Dave's evaluation of their daughter's gifts. The Matthews family had recognized Lily's exceptional musical ability, but had been uncertain how to provide appropriate challenges for someone so young with such advanced skills. Dave's insights about her need for musical peers and more sophisticated creative outlets aligned perfectly with concerns they had been discussing privately. His offer to facilitate introductions with experienced musicians felt like answered prayers. 3 days later, Dave arranged for Lily to visit a recording studio where several Nashville session musicians were working on a project. The informal jam session was designed to let Lily experience playing with professionals while giving the musicians a chance to assess her abilities. Frank Morrison accompanied the Matthews family, his pride in his young protege evident as introductions were made. The session musicians, initially skeptical about jamming with a 9-year-old, were quickly converted by Lily's playing. Her ability to follow complex chord progressions, contribute meaningful musical ideas, and maintain perfect timing impressed everyone present. More importantly, her enthusiasm and respectful attitude made her a joy to work with, proving that her personality matched her exceptional talent. During the session, Lily played rhythm guitar, while the other musicians built arrangements around her contributions. Her instinctive understanding of how to complement other players rather than compete with them showed musical maturity far beyond her years. Dave watched from the control room, taking notes about which musicians seemed to connect best with Lily's style and energy. The breakthrough moment came when Lily suggested a bridge section for a song they were working on, humming a melody and then translating it to guitar. The professional musicians looked at each other in amazement as her contribution elevated the entire piece. "That's exactly what this song needed," the producer commented. "How did a 9-year-old hear that when we've been working on it for hours?" After the session, Dave gathered feedback from all the musicians present. Their unanimous assessment was that Lily possessed not just exceptional technical skills, but rare musical intelligence and creativity. More importantly, they all expressed interest in working with her again, recognizing that her fresh perspective could enhance their own musical projects while providing her with invaluable learning opportunities. Based on the session's success, Dave proposed a unique mentorship program to Lily's parents. Rather than traditional lessons, he suggested regular jam sessions with carefully selected professional musicians who could challenge her creativity while nurturing her development. The program would focus on collaboration, composition, and the kind of musical growth that couldn't happen in isolation. The Matthews family was overwhelmed by Dave's generous offer, but had practical concerns about the time commitment and potential pressure on their daughter. Dave addressed their worries by explaining that the program would remain fun-focused and flexible, with Lily's emotional well-being taking priority over any musical goals. Her childhood would be protected while her talent was nurtured. Frank Morrison offered his store as a regular meeting place for Lily's mentorship sessions, providing a comfortable environment where she could continue learning from multiple teachers. His relationship with Nashville's music community made him an ideal coordinator for the program, ensuring that each session would be educational and enjoyable while maintaining the relaxed atmosphere that brought out Lily's best playing. The first official mentorship session took place the following Saturday at Morrison Music, with Dave joining Lily and 2 session musicians for an afternoon of collaborative music making. They worked on original compositions, with each participant contributing ideas and building on others' suggestions. Lily's contributions were sophisticated and creative, proving that her talent thrived in collaborative environments. As weeks passed, word spread through Nashville's music community about the remarkable 9-year-old guitarist who was participating in professional jam sessions. Established musicians began requesting opportunities to work with Lily, curious about the young talent who was reportedly holding her own with seasoned professionals. Dave carefully vetted each potential mentor, ensuring that they understood the program's focus on nurturing rather than exploiting Lily's abilities. 3 months into the mentorship program, Lily had composed her first complete song with lyrics, working with a Nashville songwriter who specialized in helping artists find their voices. The song, about feeling different from other kids but finding strength in that difference, reflected both her musical sophistication and her 9-year-old perspective on belonging and creativity. The recording of Lily's original song created a buzz in Nashville's music industry, not as a commercial product, but as proof of exceptional artistic development. Dave shared the recording privately with industry contacts, not to generate business opportunities, but to document Lily's progress and potentially inspire other programs for young musicians with exceptional talents. Lily's story began attracting attention from music educators interested in understanding how to nurture young talent without creating pressure or robbing children of normal developmental experiences. Her parents worked with Dave to establish guidelines for media interactions, ensuring that Lily's privacy and childhood remained protected, while her musical journey continued to inspire others. 6 months after their first meeting at Morrison Music, Dave invited Lily to observe a Foo Fighters recording session, giving her insight into professional music production while letting her see how established bands collaborate. She sat quietly in the control room, absorbing every detail of the process, asking thoughtful questions during breaks that impressed the entire production team. The experience of watching professionals work sparked new interest in Lily's musical development. She began asking questions about songwriting structure, arrangement choices, and production techniques that went far beyond typical 9-year-old curiosity. Her questions revealed deep thinking about music as both art and craft, suggesting readiness for more advanced instruction. Dave arranged for Lily to work with Nashville's most respected music theory instructor, but only after ensuring that formal education would complement rather than replace her intuitive approach to music. The theory lessons helped her understand why her instinctive choices worked, while providing vocabulary to communicate her musical ideas more precisely to other musicians. As Lily's first year in the mentorship program concluded, her growth was evident not just in technical skill, but in confidence and artistic vision. She had composed a collection of original songs, collaborated with dozens of professional musicians, and developed a unique style that blended technical proficiency with emotional authenticity. Her music was unmistakably her own. Dave documented Lily's progress in a video diary, creating a record of her development that could inspire other young musicians and inform approaches to nurturing exceptional talent. The footage showed not just her musical growth, but her maintained enthusiasm and childlike joy in making music, proving that serious artistic development didn't require sacrificing childhood happiness. The success of Lily's mentorship program led to inquiries from other families with musically gifted children, prompting Dave and Frank Morrison to consider expanding the model. They began developing guidelines for identifying truly exceptional young talent and creating supportive environments that could nurture gifts without creating unhealthy pressure or unrealistic expectations about professional careers. Lily's second year in the program introduced her to different musical genres and instruments, broadening her artistic vocabulary while deepening her understanding of music's diverse expressions. She showed particular interest in blues and jazz, genres that allowed her to explore improvisation more extensively and develop her already impressive ability to convey emotion through instrumental music. The mentorship program's informal performances at Morrison Music began attracting small audiences of music lovers who appreciated witnessing authentic artistic development. These performances weren't concerts, but musical conversations, with Lily and her mentors sharing ideas and building songs collaboratively, while observers experienced the creative process in real time. Dave's documentation of Lily's journey attracted attention from music therapy researchers, interested in understanding how musical expression supported emotional and intellectual development in gifted children. Her articulate discussions of music's emotional impact provided insights that informed approaches to using music therapeutically with young people facing various challenges. As Lily approached her third year in the mentorship program, her musical sophistication continued to amaze everyone involved in her development. She had begun writing more complex compositions that incorporated advanced harmonic concepts while maintaining the emotional authenticity that had first impressed Dave. Her growth seemed to accelerate rather than plateau. The Nashville music community had embraced Lily as an honorary member, with established musicians regularly seeking her input on their projects. Her fresh perspective and fearless creativity contributed to professional recordings, though always in collaborative rather than commercial contexts. Her parents remained vigilant about protecting her childhood while allowing her talent to flourish. Dave realized that Lily's story had evolved beyond individual mentorship into a model for supporting exceptional young artists. Her development proved that talent could be nurtured intensively without creating pressure. That serious artistic growth could coexist with normal childhood experiences, and that authentic creativity thrived in supportive collaborative environments. 3 years after their first meeting at Morrison Music, Lily had grown not just as a musician, but as a thoughtful artist with clear vision about her creative goals. She spoke eloquently about wanting to use music to help other kids feel understood and valued, showing that her artistic development was matched by growing empathy and social awareness. The informal network of musicians who had worked with Lily began organizing regular sessions for other young talents, using the principles Dave and Frank had developed. The Morrison model emphasized collaboration over competition, creativity over perfectionism, and joy over pressure, creating environments where exceptional young musicians could develop authentically. Lily's compositions had evolved into sophisticated pieces that showcased not just technical skill, but genuine artistic voice. Her songs addressed themes relevant to her experience while demonstrating musical maturity that impressed adult listeners. Critics who heard her work praised its authenticity and emotional honesty, noting that it avoided both childishness and inappropriate adult themes. As word of the Morrison model spread beyond Nashville, music educators from other cities requested information about implementing similar programs. Dave and Frank began developing resources to help communities create supportive environments for exceptionally gifted young musicians, ensuring that other talented children could benefit from collaborative approaches to artistic development. Lily's 4th year in the program introduced opportunities to perform with established artists at carefully selected venues, always in contexts that prioritized artistic growth over commercial success. These performances allowed her to experience different audience energies while maintaining the collaborative spirit that had characterized her development throughout the mentorship program. The performances revealed Lily's natural stage presence and ability to connect with audiences of all ages. Her comfort in front of crowds reflected years of positive musical experiences rather than forced exposure, demonstrating how authentic confidence developed when young artists were supported rather than exploited. She played with joy rather than anxiety. Dave began receiving inquiries from record labels interested in Lily's commercial potential, but he and her parents remained focused on her artistic development rather than career opportunities. Their priority was ensuring that she continued growing as both a musician and a person, with any professional decisions deferred until she was old enough to make them herself. The mentorship program's success led to academic study, with researchers documenting how collaborative learning environments supported exceptional talent development. Lily's case became a primary example of how young artists could be challenged intellectually and creatively while maintaining emotional health and normal social development. Frank Morrison's store had become an unofficial center for youth music education, with the success of Lily's program attracting other families seeking supportive environments for their children's musical development. The store's atmosphere of respect for musical creativity, regardless of age or experience level, made it an ideal laboratory for innovative approaches to music education. As Lily entered her early teens, her music continued evolving in sophistication while maintaining the emotional authenticity that had first impressed Dave. Her songs addressed more complex themes while avoiding the cynicism that often characterized teenage artistic expression. Her optimism and curiosity about music's possibilities remained intact despite years of intensive development. The network of musicians who had worked with Lily began collaborating on a documentary about her journey, not to showcase her as a prodigy, but to demonstrate how exceptional talent could be nurtured responsibly. The film emphasized the importance of community support, appropriate challenges, and protecting childhood while fostering artistic growth. Dave's role in Lily's development had evolved from discoverer to artistic advisor, providing guidance on navigating the music industry's complexities while maintaining creative integrity. His experience with fame's challenges informed his advice about staying grounded and focused on artistic rather than commercial goals. His mentorship prepared her for future decisions about her career. Lily's influence on Nashville's music community extended beyond her own development to inspire more inclusive approaches to collaboration and mentorship. Established musicians who had worked with her reported renewed enthusiasm for their own creativity, proving that learning and inspiration could flow in multiple directions when age barriers were respectfully removed. The Morrison model had been implemented in 12 cities by Lily's 5th year in the program, with adaptations for different community resources and musical traditions. Each program maintained the core principles of collaboration, respect, and joy-focused learning while adapting to local needs and opportunities. The model's flexibility ensured its broader applicability. Research on the Morrison model's effectiveness showed consistently positive outcomes for participating young musicians, including improved technical skills, increased creativity, better emotional regulation, and stronger social connections. The data validated Dave and Frank's intuitive approach to nurturing exceptional talent while supporting overall development. Lily began mentoring younger children herself, sharing her love of music while developing teaching skills that enhanced her own understanding. Her ability to communicate musical concepts to peers demonstrated deep comprehension while fulfilling her desire to help other kids find their voices through music. Teaching reinforced her own learning. The mentorship program had created a sustainable model for supporting exceptional young talent that didn't depend on celebrity involvement or expensive resources. Community music stores, volunteer professional musicians, and committed parents could collaborate to create environments where gifted children thrived without sacrificing childhood or family stability. As Lily approached high school age, decisions about balancing musical development with academic requirements became more complex. Dave and her parents worked with educators to design a learning plan that honored both her intellectual gifts and her musical talent, ensuring she wouldn't have to choose between artistic and academic development. The success of Lily's educational integration inspired other school districts to develop programs for artistically gifted students. Her case demonstrated that exceptional talent in one area could enhance rather than compete with broader learning, providing inspiration for educational policies that supported diverse forms of intelligence and creativity. Lily's compositions had begun addressing social issues important to her generation, using her musical platform to encourage empathy and understanding among young people. Her songs about inclusion, environmental responsibility, and kindness reflected both artistic maturity and strong values, proving that her development included moral as well as musical growth. The themes in Lily's music attracted attention from youth organizations working on social issues, leading to collaborations that used music to engage young people in community service and social awareness. Her artistic voice had become a tool for positive social impact, fulfilling her early stated desire to use music to help others feel understood and valued. Dave's documentation of Lily's journey had evolved into a comprehensive case study used by music educators, child development specialists, and talent researchers. Her story illustrated principles that could inform approaches to nurturing exceptional abilities in various fields, extending the impact of her musical development to broader questions about supporting gifted children. The annual gathering of Morrison Model programs had grown into a festival celebrating young musicians from participating communities. Lily often served as a featured performer and workshop leader, sharing her experience while continuing to learn from other talented young artists. The festival embodied the collaborative spirit that had shaped her development. As Lily's story approached its 10th anniversary, the ripple effects of Dave's initial recognition of her talent had touched thousands of young musicians worldwide. The mentorship programs inspired by her development had created opportunities for countless other gifted children to develop their abilities in supportive, collaborative environments. The long-term impact of the Morrison model extended beyond individual talent development to influence music education policy and practices. Academic institutions began incorporating collaborative learning principles, professional development programs adopted mentorship approaches, and communities recognized the importance of supporting exceptional talent through collective effort rather than individual pressure. Lily's teenage years had brought new challenges and opportunities, but the foundation of respect, collaboration, and joy established during her early development continued to guide her choices. She remained grounded in her values while exploring increasingly sophisticated artistic expression, proving that early nurturing could provide stability for lifelong creative growth. The network of musicians who had participated in Lily's mentorship had maintained connections that continued enriching Nashville's music community. Their experience working with exceptional young talent had influenced their approaches to collaboration, creativity, and supporting emerging artists, creating lasting positive changes in professional musical culture. Dave's role in Lily's story had evolved from chance encounter to lifelong artistic advisor, but the relationship remained grounded in mutual respect and shared love of music. Their friendship demonstrated how genuine mentorship could benefit both participants, with experienced artists finding renewal through working with passionate young talents. As Lily prepared to make decisions about college and career paths, the skills and values developed through years of collaborative music making informed her choices. Whether she pursued music professionally or as an avocation, her artistic development had provided tools for creative problem-solving, emotional expression, and meaningful contribution to community that would serve her throughout life. The most unexpected development came during Lily's senior year of high school, when a major university offered her a full scholarship not for music performance, but for music therapy, recognizing her exceptional ability to use music for healing and connection. The opportunity combined her artistic gifts with her desire to help others, creating a perfect alignment of talent and purpose. Lily's decision to pursue music therapy surprised some who expected her to choose performance or composition, but it reflected the values that had guided her development from the beginning. Her choice to use music as a tool for helping others rather than personal glory demonstrated the character development that had occurred alongside her artistic growth throughout the mentorship program's influence. The university program Lily entered had been specifically designed around her unique combination of exceptional musical ability and mature understanding of music's therapeutic potential. Her case had influenced the curriculum development, creating opportunities for other students with similar interests to combine artistic excellence with service-oriented career goals. Dave attended Lily's high school graduation, reflecting on the incredible journey that had begun with a chance encounter at Morrison Music 10 years earlier. Her valedictorian speech about using individual gifts to serve community needs brought tears to his eyes, proving that her artistic development had been matched by growth in wisdom, empathy, and social responsibility. The graduation ceremony featured a performance by Lily and several alumni of the Morrison Model programs, showcasing the collaborative approach that had shaped their development. Their music demonstrated technical excellence combined with emotional authenticity, proving that nurturing environments could produce both skilled musicians and thoughtful human beings. Frank Morrison, now in his 80s, watched Lily's graduation with pride in his contribution to her development and satisfaction in the program's broader impact. His music store had become a model for community-based talent development, inspiring similar initiatives in communities worldwide. His legacy extended far beyond instrument sales to include nurturing the next generation of musicians. As Lily prepared to begin college, she established a scholarship fund for young musicians who showed exceptional talent but lacked resources for proper development. Her fund specifically supported collaborative learning opportunities, ensuring that other gifted children could benefit from the same kind of nurturing environment that had shaped her growth. The Morrison Model programs had expanded to include not just music, but other artistic disciplines, with visual artists, writers, and performers benefiting from collaborative approaches to talent development. Lily's story had sparked recognition that exceptional abilities in any field could be nurtured through community support, appropriate challenges, an emphasis on joy rather than pressure. Dave's involvement in Lily's story had influenced his own artistic development, inspiring him to create music that emphasized collaboration and community building. His band's latest album included songs directly inspired by his experience mentoring young talent, proving that the relationship had enriched both participants' creative expression. The research documenting Lily's development and the Morrison model's effectiveness had been published in academic journals, influencing policy discussions about supporting gifted children. Her case provided evidence that exceptional talent could be nurtured without creating pressure, that collaboration enhanced rather than diminished individual achievement, and that supporting young artists benefited entire communities. As Lily began her college studies in music therapy, she maintained connections with Morrison Music and the mentorship program, returning regularly to work with younger students. Her continued involvement ensured that the program's founding principles would be preserved while evolving to meet new challenges and opportunities. The network of musicians who had participated in Lily's mentorship had created a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting exceptional young artists through collaborative learning opportunities. The organization used Lily's story as inspiration while developing programs tailored to individual community needs and resources. Lily's college professors were amazed by her combination of technical skill, emotional intelligence, and mature understanding of music's therapeutic applications. Her background in collaborative learning had prepared her for graduate-level work, while her years of diverse musical experiences provided rich material for her therapeutic training. The impact of Dave's initial recognition of Lily's talent had created ripple effects that continued expanding 10 years later. Young musicians in dozens of communities were benefiting from programs inspired by her story, proving that individual acts of recognition and support could generate lasting positive change across generations and geographic boundaries. As Lily's college career progressed, she began conducting research on music therapy's effectiveness with other gifted young people, bringing her story full circle. Her academic work focused on how collaborative musical experiences could support emotional and social development in exceptionally talented children, contributing new knowledge to both music therapy and talent development fields. The success of the Morrison model had attracted attention from international music educators, leading to programs in several countries that adapted collaborative learning principles to different cultural contexts. Lily's story had become a global inspiration for supporting young talent while preserving childhood and emphasizing community values over individual competition. Dave continued his involvement in youth music programs, but Lily's story remained his most meaningful mentorship experience. Their relationship had taught him that recognizing talent was just the beginning. The real impact came from creating supportive environments where gifts could develop authentically and young people could grow into thoughtful, creative adults. Morrison Music had become a pilgrimage site for music educators interested in community-based talent development, with Frank Morrison sharing the story of Lily's discovery and growth. His insights about creating environments where exceptional talent could flourish had influenced music education practices in communities worldwide. Lily's research in college had begun focusing on replicating the collaborative learning experiences that had shaped her own development, creating structured programs for other music therapy students to work with young clients. Her academic work was grounded in personal experience of how music could heal, inspire, and connect people across age and ability differences, providing credibility that enhanced her scholarly contributions. The 10th anniversary of Lily's discovery at Morrison Music was celebrated with a concert featuring alumni from all the programs inspired by her story. Dave joined her on stage for a performance that showcased how their chance meeting had evolved into a movement supporting young musicians worldwide. Their duet reminded everyone that exceptional talent flourished best in environments of mutual respect and shared creativity. As Lily prepared to graduate from college, she had already been accepted into a prestigious graduate program that would allow her to continue developing therapeutic applications for collaborative music making. Her undergraduate thesis on community-based talent development had been selected for publication, ensuring that her insights would continue influencing approaches to supporting gifted young people. The Morrison Model programs had documented success with over 3,000 young musicians, creating a substantial body of evidence supporting collaborative approaches to talent development. Lily's story remained the foundational inspiration, but the movement had grown far beyond any individual to become a sustainable approach to nurturing exceptional abilities while supporting overall human development. Dave's role in the programs had evolved to include advocacy for policy changes supporting arts education and youth development. His experience with Lily had convinced him that investing in young talent was among society's most important responsibilities, leading to his involvement in legislative efforts to fund community-based arts programs nationwide. Today, 25 years after Dave Grohl walked into Morrison Music and discovered a 9-year-old girl with extraordinary guitar skills, Dr. Lily Matthews runs a music therapy clinic that serves both exceptionally gifted young people and those facing various challenges. Her treatment approach combines collaborative music making with therapeutic goals, helping clients develop both artistic skills and emotional resilience through the same principles that shaped her own growth. The clinic's waiting room displays a photo from that first day at Morrison Music. 9-year-old Lily holding her guitar while Dave kneels beside her, both smiling with the joy of unexpected musical connection. The image serves as a daily reminder that recognizing and nurturing talent requires not just identifying ability, but creating environments where gifts can develop authentically and sustainably. Dave continues to visit the clinic regularly, not as a celebrity making appearances, but as a friend and colleague who remains invested in the collaborative approach to music that began with Lily's story. His involvement demonstrates how authentic mentorship relationships can evolve and deepen over time, creating lasting bonds that enrich both participants' lives and work. The Morrison model has been implemented in over 200 communities worldwide, with adaptations for different cultural contexts and resource levels. Frank Morrison's original insight that exceptional talent thrives in environments of respect and collaboration has been validated by decades of successful programs that support both individual achievement and community connection. Lily's own children are now learning music through collaborative approaches that emphasize joy, creativity, and community connection over competition and pressure. Her parenting reflects the values that shaped her development, ensuring that the next generation will continue benefiting from environments that nurture both exceptional abilities and strong character. The research documenting the Morrison model's effectiveness has influenced educational policy at national levels, with several countries implementing programs based on collaborative learning principles for gifted students in various disciplines. Lily's story has become a case study in how individual recognition can spark systemic changes that benefit countless young people across generations. Have you ever witnessed a moment when someone's hidden talent was truly recognized and nurtured? Have you experienced how authentic encouragement can transform not just individual lives, but entire communities? Dave Grohl's decision to approach a 9-year-old guitarist in a music store reminds us that exceptional talent surrounds us daily, waiting for recognition and support. Sometimes the most profound impact comes not from discovering talent, but from creating environments where gifts can flourish authentically. Like, subscribe, and share if you believe in the power of recognizing and nurturing the extraordinary potential that exists in young people everywhere.